So today we're talking about Dolorous Edd and what we know about him from the A Song of Ice and Fire books. Not the TV show, the books. So we don't really use the word dolorous these days. You could say he's like sarcastic Edd. He's very serious and he has kind of a dry sense of humour. But when I explain a bit of his backstory, it'll kind of make sense. Edd is actually from a noble house, House Tollet, which is in the Vale. His full name is Edison of House Tollet, but they're not a big house by any stretch of the imagination. And the implication is that because Edd is very slim, that maybe he came from like the poor side of the family. We don't get a whole lot of descriptors, but we know he's thin. And we also know that he used to have a brother, but this brother was killed by a bear when Edd was young. In the books, Yoren kind of tricks Edd into joining the Night's Watch. He kind of says something to the effect of, oh, women love a man in uniform. And he kind of sells it to Edd, but he leaves out the celibacy part. What I think happened is, when Edd came of age, he didn't have a whole lot of prospects. I think that's why he joined the Night's Watch. If we think about it, he didn't have much happening at home. There wasn't a lot of prosperity. But now he's been given the choice of, well, you can come here and you can have a bed and you can have a roof over your head and 3 meals a day and you can serve, you can be useful. In many ways, someone like Edd is made for the Watch. Yes, he's technically from a noble house, but he hasn't got all these airs and graces. He's lived a normal life, relatively normal by Westerosi standards, so he knows how to get stuff done, and that is something you need to have in the Watch. You need to be pragmatic. So in a way, Edd is kind of made for the Watch, and the job he has in the Night's Watch is to be a steward. You've got the stewards, you've got the builders, and you've got the rangers. That's like the 3 categories that people fall into in the Night's Watch. We know that he's very close to Lord Commander Mormont. He's his steward. So reading between the lines, that says he's a trustworthy member of the Night's Watch in order to have that kind of position and be that close to the Lord Commander. When the Watch decides to go on this big ranging mission to find Benjen Stark, to find out what's going on with Mance Rayder, to get some answers as to what's basically going on beyond the wall, Edd, he puts himself forward. He joins that expedition. And after what happened at the Fist of the First Men, Edd, he believes in the others. He understands the threat is real. Edd is like, damn, this is fucking serious. And Edd, you know, he has a laugh with his mates, but he understands the commitment to the job. And people notice Edd. They know he can be trusted. And that's why his name is put forward to be the new Lord Commander. But Edd is like, I don't want it. And he's actually the one who puts Jon Snow's name forward. And now Edd is Jon's steward. Now he's Lord Commander. And Edd is a trusted and very senior member of the Night's Watch. Again, it's reading between the lines. In order for that to be the case, people have to like him enough, they have to trust him enough. Because at the Night's Watch, you have people who voluntarily choose to serve, but you also have criminals who are ordered, like, this is your sentence, you're stuck here for life. So you have kind of 2 different camps of people at the Watch. And Edd is firmly in the camp of, I'm here to do my duty and I'll do it as best as I can. And because of this, he rises up in the Night's Watch. And Jon Snow is like, you know what? When the wildlings come through the wall, when Jon lets them through, he opens up other castles along the wall that over time had been abandoned by the Watch. And he says, right, this guy's going to open up this new castle. I want you, Edd, to go. You're going to be his steward. I know you've got this. And that's what Edd is doing in the books. He's helping to transfer people over to this other castle. And he's basically getting sick of it. He's like, oh my God, he's sick of being outnumbered by spearwives. But again, I say it, and I feel like I'm saying this a lot with Edd, reading between the lines, you can tell that Jon obviously trusts him. He knows that Edd will help, Edd will get the job done, he can rely on Edd. And that's the kind of thing you have to take away from a character that is technically a minor character in the story, but still has an important role to play, and is definitely a very good supporting character for other people, like Sam, like Jon. Put it this way, if you're in like the trenches, you want somebody like Dolorous Edd right beside you, somebody that you can count on. He's not one of those dodgy ones. He's not a snake. He's legit, and he's the type of person that you would want in a Night's Watch brother.